I'm Peter Flockins here.
I'm Kevin Garcia.
And this is the Peanut Gallery. Today we have a very special guest, as you can see, for the Peanut Gallery, Michael Phillips, longtime movie critic for the Chicago Tribune, and actually you were a movie show host yourself. You were on the last season of At the Movies.
Yeah, with A.O. Scott, and then before that, A.O. Scott, Tony Scott, and I took turns opposite Richard Roper for a couple years on and off. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, that brings me to my first question. When did you first realize you wanted to be a professional critic?
Wow. Well, I realized I wanted to be a professional one because I guess when I realized I liked money and I like getting paid for doing what I thought would be just too cool for words if you could actually ever get paid for it. And I was writing about movies from my high school paper in Racine. I was also interested in theater, and luckily, and this was the great stroke of fortune for me as a young critic, the Minnesota Daily, the university student paper at the University of Minnesota, had a really big budget, and at age 17, I got paid for writing about theater, and everybody got a good little bit of compensation for what they did. It was like socialism right here in America, and it was fantastic. It really was. And this was in the Twin Cities, which was and is a really good culture scene for theater, film, music, all kinds of stuff. You couldn't help but just sort of fall into all this amazing stuff, and luckily get a chance to figure out how to write about it in a way that really ultimately sounded like you and not everybody you just admired. Because I think for the first couple of years you just write like a combination of everybody you admire, and then you slowly, with luck and with good editing, develop your own voice.
Interesting. Well, this is just a question that I was kind of toying with, but what was the first film that you have a clear memory of seeing, like in a theater?
Wow, good question. The first one? It might have been Mary Poppins. I think my mom probably took my brother and I to Mary Poppins, but some of these are a little hazy. I remember seeing an endless, terrible Disney film called The Happiest Millionaire in 1967 in downtown Chicago. This is in the days when movies routinely ran 2.5, 3 hours, even though they should have run an hour and a half. Yeah. And all I remember really clearly about all those trips we used to take from Racine to Chicago, and we'd go see a movie, go to dinner at the Berghoff, and maybe stay overnight. And just the look on my dad's face coming out of these 3, 5, 7 hour extravaganzas, and just sort of this. He wasn't an angry man, a demonstrative guy, but just that sort of. That kind of cloud of like another 3. But also some great stuff too. I remember seeing maybe a year or two later, 1969, Woody Allen's "Take the Money and Run," and my brother and I just laughed and laughed and laughed. And that was a case where we ended up catching. It was raining like crazy, I remember, and we were in a cab in the Loop, and we said, "Oh look, let's go to that one." And we jumped out and saw "Take the Money and Run" at the halfway point, and then just stayed to watch it at the beginning, to pick it up where it left off. And,
awesome.
And that's a clear memory.
Well, we're college students, so when you were in college...
Oh wait, you're college students? Forget it. I'm not talking. I'm not... All right. Sorry.
Did you have a favorite film genre when you were in college? One specifically?
A lot of us were real comedy nerds,
Okay.
so I think a lot of what got us interested in the first place, and this is also thanks to the stuff they were running all the time on WGN TV when I was growing up. Early Marx Brothers, W.C. Fields, Laurel and Hardy, that kind of thing. So, that was it for me more than, say, Westerns, a genre I really got to appreciate when I finally found a few Westerns I truly responded to much later. And that's how it is for everybody, right? I mean, you sort of grow up with certain things you love, and then eventually, with any luck, you find examples of movies of a genre you kind of just hadn't written off as something you particularly responded to. I always liked film noir stuff, though. I always really loved musicals, although I'm not uncritical of the stuff I don't like. But yeah, I think comedy was the way in for me.
And this is in relation to your panel. Where do you see film in 25 years?
25 years. my fondest hope is that we've found a way to maintain the interest and the appetite for event cinema, exhibition cinema, and that is increasingly defined as simply something that gets you out of your own space and into a crowd. We didn't have to used to explain this to people, but now it's there's every impulse in American society and the global society says don't go out, stay. It's right here. You can get it right here, or you can get it on the laptop. You can get it, but. I just got back from Ebert Fest, Roger Ebert's film festival every year in April, and this was kind of a special edition of it, of course, because he had just died. And it's this year and other years, it is just something to see 800-900 people in a great single-screen venue. Whether they're loving the movie or not liking the movie or whatever, it just becomes something else when you're seeing it in that kind of atmosphere. And I love that. That's how I got interested in movies in the first place. And I think if in 25 years we've been able to maintain that, and I'm optimistic, I do. I don't think movie going as a public event is going to go away, even with all the technological impulses that would indicate it might. I think we're social creatures. I think it's going to keep up.
Thank you. Well, we actually have one more question that we kind of agreed on.
Is it a good one? Is it a good question?
I don't know. It's a fun one.
Is it a fair question?
I don't know if it's fair.
All right, sure. Let's go.
Fair.
All right.
What movie are you most looking forward to this summer?
This summer?
This summer. It doesn't have to be. If it's not Man of Steel, we won't be that mad. But if it's an independent film, that's fine too.
Oh, you're one of those. You're two of those guys. The Man of Steel.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to Pacific Rim. Guillermo del Toro's thing. I love the simplicity of the concept of you got aliens from outer space, so we have to build a robot that is so large it doesn't look like it makes those Transformers robots, and I really don't like the Transformers movies.
No one does.
So
Michael Bay is behind them. So.
I know. But that was a trailer. I just saw the trailer for the first time the other night for Pacific Rim, and it was playing in front of a movie that ended up being not as good as the trailer. So, Del Toro's a real director. He's made some really interesting fantasy, and as I always say, hope springs occasional. So you never know. You really do want a movie like that to be one of those summer blockbusters that just happens to work. And so, here's hoping.
Yeah. Okay, well, Mike Phillips, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For coming on the Peanut Gallery.
Thanks, guys.
We're going to have new shows coming up every Friday or Saturday. So for that, I'm Peter Flagenstein.
And Kevin Garcia.
That's Michael Phillips. And this has been the Peanut Gallery.
Thanks
for watching.
Thanks, guys.